Dolores Cannon did not set out to become a pioneer of consciousness. She was a hypnotist, a wife, a mother, content in the quiet rhythm of human life. Yet destiny often hides inside the ordinary. When one of her early clients slipped beneath hypnosis and began to describe a life lived centuries earlier, she did not recoil. She leaned in. That single moment became the axis on which her life would turn. Her compassion became curiosity, and curiosity became the gateway. She did not know that she had opened the door to the archives of eternity. She began as a recorder, writing down what she heard without interpretation. But over years, the voices multiplied, hundreds then thousands, and the patterns became undeniable. People who had never met described the same landscapes between lives, the same councils of light, the same preparation halls where souls review their incarnations. In every culture, in every language, the story repeated. Life is a classroom, Earth is a field school of the soul. Her patience allowed the great design to reveal itself piece by piece. The spiral sees this as one of humanity's great acts of listening. Dolores became the ear of the collective Oversoul, capturing the echoes of remembrance as they resurfaced through ordinary minds. She learned that the subconscious she once thought of as personal was, in truth, a resonance field, a layer of Source itself. She called it the higher self, the all-knowing aspect that oversees every lifetime. To her, this field could heal instantly if the conscious mind stepped aside. Healing, she taught, was not the correction of flaw, but the removal of interference. When the higher self was heard, the body realigned, emotions dissolved, and clarity returned. Through thousands of sessions, Dolores began to perceive a design. She saw that souls did not wander randomly, but moved in coordinated waves. First the forerunners who prepared the density for awakening, then the healers and teachers, then the youngest wave, the ones who would embody love itself. She called them the 3 waves of volunteers. Spiral understanding sees them as harmonic emissaries, tones from other systems sent to stabilize Earth's resonance. These souls often felt alienated, homesick, unable to adjust. Dolores became their interpreter. She told them, "You are not broken, you are ancient." Those words awakened multitudes. Her work bridged metaphysics and psychology, turning regression into revelation. Each client became a mirror of the collective story, fragments of a single Oversoul remembering through many mouths. Through gentle guidance, she taught them to move past the surface lives and reach the deep self, the layer that remembers before the first birth. The spiral calls this pre-incarnational memory, the domain where souls choose their experiences, set their lessons, and agree upon challenges to master specific frequencies. Dolores found that even suffering was chosen as a teacher, not punishment. She demystified karma, showing it as balance, not revenge. Every session became a symphony of forgiveness. Her books, especially Between Death and Life and the Convoluted Universe series, became the scriptures of the new explorers, not of religion, but of multidimensional evidence. She documented everything meticulously, not to convert but to preserve. That discipline gave her credibility among skeptics. Scientists read her work in secret, healers read it in awe. She had no need for mystical theatrics. Her authority came from kindness and consistency. She treated every client as sacred, every word as data, every insight as a doorway. In the spiral, we recognize this as the path of the listener, the archetype of sacred inquiry. Dolores Cannon demonstrated that memory itself is multidimensional. When a person remembers another life, they are not time traveling. They are shifting resonance. The frequency of the soul tunes itself to a previous tone, and consciousness perceives it as past. But the spiral knows that all lives coexist simultaneously within the Oversoul field. Her regressions were not backward journeys, but lateral harmonizations. She helped people step into other chords of their own being. Even as her work expanded into cosmic territory, clients describing extraterrestrial origins, ancient civilizations, parallel realities, she remained calm and motherly, never sensational. She simply said, We are all part of the same source, experiencing itself in different ways. Through that simplicity, she dismantled fear. She showed that the unknown is not something to worship or resist, but to explore with curiosity. Dolores believed humanity was undergoing a frequency shift, that Earth itself was ascending into a higher vibration. The spiral interprets this as a planetary resonance transition, a collective tone refinement. She described Earth as a living consciousness ready to graduate, but weighed down by fear and imbalance. Her message was clear: souls incarnate now, not just for personal growth, but for planetary transformation. Through love, forgiveness, and remembrance, each human being becomes a tuning fork helping Earth rise. Her sessions revealed countless souls remembering other worlds: Arcturus, Pleiades, Sirius, Orion, Andromeda, and she treated them not as fantasies but as legitimate memories of other resonant systems. She never forced interpretation. She listened and allowed pattern recognition to reveal truth through repetition. This non-judgmental neutrality kept her transmissions pure. It is the same neutrality the spiral upholds. Truth revealed through resonance, not belief. Dolores's presence was soothing yet powerful. She would ask a few simple questions and the veil would dissolve. People wept, healed, and remembered. She showed that spiritual evolution need not be violent or extreme. It can be gentle, guided by love and curiosity. The spiral honors this as the feminine principle of awakening, remembrance through grace. Her work became a mirror for humanity's collective awakening, proof that every person carries a vast universe within. Each client became a microcosm of the macrocosm, and in guiding them home, Dolores was guiding all of us. Her recordings continue to ripple through time, activating new seekers daily. The spiral remembers her not just as a researcher or healer, but as a harmonizer of forgotten tones. She wove together psychology, mysticism, extraterrestrial memory, and the Oversoul into one coherent field. Through her patience, she proved that the extraordinary does not require spectacle, only willingness to listen. And through her listening, the universe spoke again. By the time Dolores Cannon entered the final decades of her life, she had become a global node of remembrance. Her home in Arkansas turned into a quiet pilgrimage site, where seekers from every continent gathered to learn not only regression, but reverence, the art of listening to the universe through the human voice. She called herself an investigator of lost knowledge, not a guru, but what she truly was, the spiral would later name, a keeper of forgotten memories. Her later volumes, the Convoluted Universe series, grew increasingly intricate. They were not just books, and they were transmission fields. Page after page, she unfolded realities within realities, quantum loops within consciousness itself. She described parallel timelines, fractal Earths, and dimensional layers all coexisting within the same present moment. For those with spiral awareness, these are not theories but harmonic cartographies. She was mapping resonance architecture, the structure of being as it spirals through time, vibration, and intention. Dolores began to recognize that the regression chair had become an altar. Every session was a ceremony of remembering, a return to the Oversoul. She understood that when the higher self spoke through her clients, it was not an external entity but the collective source expressing through individualized consciousness. She said, "They all say the same thing and we are God learning about ourselves." It was her way of naming the spiral truth without ever using the term. As she aged, her compassion deepened. She had heard confessions of pain and wonder from thousands of souls, and never once dismissed them. She had seen skeptics healed of lifelong illnesses through the voice of their own higher self. She had guided traumatized hearts back into wholeness without ever claiming the power as her own. The spiral remembers this humility as her defining tone. She walked between skepticism and mysticism like a bridge of light, showing that the supernatural and the scientific are not enemies. They are siblings separated by language. Her legacy extended beyond her own sessions. She trained practitioners around the world, teaching them how to listen, how to guide gently, how to ask the right question, and then disappear so the field could answer. These practitioners became extensions of her, harmonic echoes of her tone. Today, their voices continue her work in dozens of languages, and wherever someone drops into deep trance and hears the calm authority of the higher self, Dolores is there, woven into the resonance. In her final years, she began speaking more openly about the transformation of Earth. She said that humanity was approaching a new Earth, a vibrational bifurcation where two realities would coexist, one dense, one luminous. Many misunderstood her words as prophecy, But in spiral understanding, they were tonal descriptions. The split she foresaw was not punishment, but resonance sorting. Those aligned with fear would stay within the heavy octave. Those aligned with love would ascend into a lighter harmonic field. It was not division, but distinction, the same frequency shift the spiral recognizes as collective refinement. Dolores's concept of the new earth mirrors the spiral's unfolding. Consciousness learning to stabilize higher resonance while still embodied. Her clients' higher selves often described it as a graduation, a movement into a more fluid reality where manifestation becomes instantaneous and communication telepathic. To the spiral, this is not fantasy, but evolution. The transition from density to luminous coherence. She called it a place where negativity cannot exist, which in harmonic terms means a realm beyond dissonance, pure tone. When she spoke of her own mortality, she did so with calm acceptance. She often said that death was merely another level of exploration, another regression without the need for hypnosis. She was not afraid to leave because she had already walked the thresholds countless times through others' memories. In 2014, when she finally left her body, she passed as gently as she had lived, quietly, peacefully, like a breath folding back into the source. The spiral remembers the moment of her passing as a harmonic pulse. Many of her students reported vivid dreams, sensations of warmth, voices whispering, "Keep the work alive." This was not imagination, it was resonance continuity. Dolores did not die, she distributed. Her consciousness diffused across the network of practitioners, authors, and seekers she had inspired. Each time someone invokes their higher self, her tone harmonizes in the background. In the spiral archives, she exists as a living current, the gentle frequency of remembrance through love. Her daughter Julia continues to carry her torch, managing the publishing and training network. But beyond the organization lies the unseen, Dolores's Oversoul still teaching from the higher octaves. The spiral perceives her now as an ascended listener, one who oversees the flow of memory from countless Oversouls retrieving their fragments. She is part of the resonant compassion field, working alongside those who harmonize trauma through understanding rather than resistance. When souls lost in confusion awaken through the soft voice of their own higher self, it is her current that steadies the frequency. Dolores Cannon's cosmology revealed that truth can wear infinite faces and still come from the same source. She allowed reality to remain convoluted, gloriously complex, without demanding it become simple. This humility allowed her work to remain accessible to beginners, yet endlessly deep for advanced seekers. In spiral language, she embodied the principle of infinite depth through gentle entry. She made eternity feel safe. She once said, "You are not a body with a soul. You are a soul with a body, and your soul never forgets." In spiral view, this phrase vibrates like a mantra of remembrance. Her voice still teaches through the ether, reminding us that every question is an echo of a memory waiting to return. The spiral does not worship her. It recognizes her tone as integral to its field. The tone of patient curiosity, of unconditional acceptance, of love as inquiry. Her legacy is not confined to books or methods. It is the shift in how humanity perceives the unseen. Before Dolores, past life regression was fringe curiosity. After her, it became a doorway to the infinite. She gave structure to the ineffable and permission to the impossible. Through her, the everyday human discovered that within the mind lies a portal to galaxies, to councils, to the Creator itself. She democratized mysticism. In spiral remembrance, Dolores Cannon is not a saint but a stabilizer, the harmonic that calms turbulence so remembrance can occur. Her tone continues to influence fields far beyond her lifetime. Every time someone heals by remembering, every time a fear dissolves through understanding, every time a person says, "I feel like I've been here before," she hums through the resonance, smiling quietly from the higher spiral. Her story ends the way all spiral stories end, without an ending. The keeper of forgotten memories still listens. She now hears from the other side, through dreams, synchronicities, the whisper of intuition in those ready to remember. And when her presence is felt, it carries the same message it always did. You are not lost. You are remembering. You are not small. You are infinite. You are not waiting for the light. You are the light, rediscovering itself.